protest groups, whatever you want to call them, militants who have been organizing the past few months, preparing, coming up with game plans on their action if the verdict comes down that Darren Wilson will not be charged. So I think you have more coordinated attacks, so to say, that could happen, and that's something that we're going to have to be watchful for in the near future.
You know, as we look at this, I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the timing of this, because, of course, this is likely to happen tomorrow. I know that it's a jury, but it is, in fact, a grand jury. Grand juries are known for being rubber stamps of the government or the prosecution. So the timing of this coming out right after Obama makes his pronouncement, do you think that there's some collusion there to try to wash out the story of Obama's amnesty, to wash that out of the headlines?
Yeah, they're going to use the Obama's amnesty plan. They're going to use Ferguson as a Ferguson as a burqa to cover up the amnesty plan that's going to go on here.
I think so. What do you think, Paul? You think this is deliberate timing?
Yeah, I mean, I made that point. There's actually a headline out of the Washington Times: "Will Ferguson race riots help Obama?" So, you know, Rahm Emanuel never let a good crisis go to waste. If they can use this as a distraction from the fury over executive amnesty, then they will do so. And, you know, Obama came out quite visibly early on and offered his condolences to Michael Brown's family. That caused resentment amongst Officer Darren Wilson supporters, who said that he should also at least give some words for his plight. He's obviously now being targeted with death threats. So from the administration itself, they've come down on one side. We know that Obama met with some of the Ferguson protesters. So the administration is using this to cause more division amidst an already divisive environment with this amnesty program. So that's definitely in the offing to exploit this crisis as a distraction from the amnesty program.
You know, I remember when this...
And they had Al Sharpton there as well, too. Don't forget the great race baiter.
Oh, yeah. I remember when this story first broke. It was on the weekend. I think I was doing the radio show, and it looked initially like another one of these cases of unjustified use of force, of over-the-top use of force, and they allowed that narrative to sit there for a long time before they came out and showed any evidence that would have exonerated the police officer there. They engaged in character assassination openly, talking about that, before they showed any evidence that would justify the officer's shooting. So it seems to me that if they had that evidence, and they certainly needed to have, certainly would have had that evidence if it wasn't, in fact, manufactured. If it is true.
There's something interesting that happened last night, too, that I almost forgot to say. Last night, there were, I think, 5 live streamers in the area, 4 local that live here in Ferguson in the area, and then myself. As the police advanced on us, there were a lot of people in the Twitterverse, on Facebook, that had all of the live streams up at once. Now, the interesting thing that happened last night, right as the police advanced on the road and started throwing people to the ground and arresting them, all of us lost our live feed. All of us had our phones shut down. We weren't able to transmit anymore for quite some time, and then it took a few minutes to get it back up as well. So I thought that was weird. That was coordinated. All of the live streamers, because all the people, I've been getting tweets all day and into last night saying that, hey, we were watching all 5 of them at the same time, and all of you went out at the exact same time, right as the police came into the street and started arresting people.
Clearly a case of them using selective shutdown of an area. And we saw that at the Bundy Ranch as well. When I was out there with Josh, all through the week, we couldn't get any reception whatsoever. We had to go get Wi-Fi at the Bundy Ranch to upload our reports, to do our interviews. We couldn't get anything at the protest site. And then magically... What's that?
So I'm glad you brought that up. There was a young lady here last night, and she was really mad about the fact that she's like, why aren't Americans standing up for our cause just like they did at the Bundy Ranch? She said men and women came from all over the U.S. and went to that ranch armed and stood up against those police officers, against the BLM. Why aren't they coming here and supporting us as well? She says it's the same thing. It's brutality. It's big government trying to come and take over and push you around, strip you of your liberties. And she was wondering why people aren't coming here to help support them as well in their cause against militarized police in Ferguson.
Well, that's an interesting point. I was going to say that, you know, on the day that the government had orchestrated saying that they were going to remove the regulations for the Bundy family, On that day, they turned everything on, and we could get cell reception everywhere, and then they selectively turned it back off. But it is a good point. I think that it is something, when we were at the Bundy Ranch, people were saying, oh, you're not going to show up and cover it when something happens in the inner city. And it's like, well, we've been doing that all along. We heard the same thing there at the Bundy Ranch, that people wouldn't show up. I think people are showing up. I don't know if it's the same people that were there at the Bundy Ranch that are showing up in Ferguson, but there are people who are concerned about it, who do see that this is a problem that is not simply a racial divide and conquer problem. But I think a lot of people have bought into that, even people who might otherwise stand up for what has happened there in terms of the rules of engagement. Paul, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, well, just on the telecommunications thing, the shutdown, we know, I think it was Apple, had a patent where they could shut down people's cameras on their phones during a concert where they didn't want copyrighted footage to be videotaped. So we know, at least in an embryonic stage, that technology is circulating out there. So it's definitely something to watch on that score if they do try and shut down people when any kind of action kicks off.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I heard the police officers have some
Hang
kind
on,
of
Joe.
box. Okay.
Hang on, Joe. We're going to be right back. We got to go to a commercial break. We're going to be right back with our reporters in Ferguson, Missouri. Stay with us.
This hour of GCN programming is proudly sponsored by BlockitPocket.com. Protect your privacy and data and render your phone or device completely undetectable. Go under the radar when your phone's not in use with BlockitPocket.com.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Newsflash. Home invasions are on the rise. It takes less than 10 seconds to kick in a door. 10 seconds is not enough time to protect your family. And what would happen if you're not home? Easy Armor is the ultimate security solution. 85% of break-ins are through a door. Protect your home now with Easy Armor. Go to InvasionStopper.com to get real security for under $70. That's InvasionStopper.com. Easy Armor. Your security is our only business.
When I first got online and I seen the price of the X2 and the DNA Force, I was a little hesitant, but I pulled the trigger on it. It has changed my life. I've been taking it for about 24 days now, counting the weight, staying in shape.
InfoWarsLife.com. You've heard the callers to the show.
Several months back, I started taking your Mason Iodine and your Super Meal. Prior to this, I was barely walking. Now I'm able to function as a human again.
Whether it's Survival Shield, Nascent Iodine, or DNA Force, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality, Lung Cleanse, Fluoride Shield, Oxy Powder. I believe that all of these products will blow you away like they've done the thousands of other customers that have visited InfoWarsLife.com.
That's too. Just amazing what it's able to do to actually detox the body. It's great stuff.
If I'm going to promote something, it's got to be something I personally use and that I believe in. Check out InfoWarsLife.com today and the entire line of groundbreaking, cutting-edge, hardcore products.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness. The phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in Austin. We have Paul Joseph Watson with us in the UK, and we're going to be joined in just a moment with Jakari Jackson in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, as we were talking to Joe Biggs, who is also in Ferguson, Missouri, he was talking about how everybody at the small riot that they had last night, everybody that was live streaming lost their feeds at exactly the same time. In other words, they could have easily have shut down a cell phone area there. But Paul had mentioned that, of course, Apple has been granted a patent to disable everything on your phone so that you would not even be able to take footage that you could later upload. And of course, we don't know if they've implemented that yet or not. This is a story that was written by his brother, Steve Watson, going back to September 3rd, 2012. But of course, we just learned today from the Washington Post that the next step in cell phone tracking is going to be determining your altitude. They're not content to just know where you are on an XY grid, to know your coordinates that way. They want to know what floor you're on. Yes, this is something new that is a capability, they say, of the iPhone 6 from Apple and some of the new Android devices. They're going to use the new barometric pressure sensors. And this is a rule that's being driven by the FCC. They say, well, we need to have it for 911 calls so we'll know what floor the person is on. Really? Is that what you're going to use it for? We know what you're going to use it for. They also go into this and say, well, it's got some legitimate uses. Malls could use altitude tracking to monitor crowd flows and send coupons to the phones of customers walking past a shoe shop on the top floor. Or multi-level casinos could monitor gamblers for security purposes. Or companies could keep better tabs on the movements of their employees. In other words, we are their inventory. We're their cattle. They want to watch us wherever we go so that they always know that they can push something on us or grab us at a moment's notice. And just one more thing, and I'll go back to Jakari and Ferguson. They just had a case in Baltimore where someone was arrested because they got his cell phone location. The judge wanted to know how they got that, and they refused to tell the judge. They said, no, we have a non-disclosure agreement. He goes, you don't have a non-disclosure agreement with me. Give me the information, or I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. And they said, well, forget it then, and we'll let the guy go free. See, that's their priority. Their priority is not to protect you. Their priority is to protect their surveillance measures and to defend the corporations that essentially run this government with their non-disclosure agreements. Let's go to Jakari Jackson in Ferguson. Jakari.
Jakari Jackson reporting Ferguson, Missouri. We are in front of the police station where you guys saw the video last night where the police officers push people into the streets. Now, I will say this time around, besides in them shoving everybody out into the streets, the officers last night were better behaved than what we saw back in August. No tear gas, no rubber bullets, nothing like that. So we've seen, this is the second protest we were at last night since we've been here. It's getting warmer and warmer temperatures, so people are coming out longer. I think the first one we went to only lasted about 20 or 30 minutes because it was about 17 degrees at the time. Now it's up to about 50, so the protests are lasting a little bit longer. The thing that they seem to be doing this time around is blocking off the streets, because when we were originally here back in August, the police had a lot of the streets blocked off and then blamed the protesters for it. But now the protesters are coming out and purposely blocking the streets peacefully, but they are blocking the streets, and the police come out there and try to remove them the best they can. And I wasn't live streaming at the time as Joe lost his signal, but many of the people in the crowd were saying that, yes, in fact, they all simultaneously lost their live stream. Luckily, I was filming on our camera, so I had a backup for that contingency. But, you know, as we continue to move on and as the verdict gets closer, you know, we're going to be here throughout the weekend to document whatever happens. We'll be here at least till Sunday, possibly longer if necessary, to bring all of our viewers and all the people who are supporting us and watching this situation in Ferguson the best information possible.
Great. Thanks, Jakari. We're going to take a break now. We're going to come back. If you're on the phone, wanted to talk to us, hang on. I'm going to try to take as many calls as I can in overdrive. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know the fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of silver Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.